Solidly, an AMM model that would revamp the DEX space as we know it. In the early days with Solidly on Phantom, it was okay, and then it eventually was just a crash and burn. However, Solidly did just launch on Ethereum with a couple new updates and a revamp or fixes. And when it launched, it gave a airdrop to a majority of its users in a VE Solid token. So over 96% of the total Solid supply is already locked for the max lock, which is 4 years. And for about a week, maybe the price action was steady. Until the past few days, it has been taking off. Now, Solidly is on Ethereum, and if you take a look at some of the stats on DeFi Llama, the TVL is on the up only. Now, why is that? Well, for the most part, it is farmers chasing the yields. If you go under the swap pools, and you can see here, some of these pools are paying nuts and ham. If you take a look at the Solidly ETH pool, it's paying 972% APR. If you have Hex and ETH, this is paying 554%. You have Taro and ETH, 360%. This is on Ethereum's network. So this is kind of like a catch-all for a lot of these governance tokens. So if you take note of some of these tokens here, you have SHIB, you have SNX, you have Balancer, you have Deuce, you have Hex, you have mosold. If you take a look at any of these tokens on CoinGecko, I haven't even pulled them up. They're probably pumping. The Solidly model basically just creates a liquidity black hole for a lot of these governance tokens. Because as they're deposited onto the protocol, they're there to farm the solid rewards. Now, what's interesting about the Solidly model is in any of these pools that you deposit into, this APR is only paid in the solid token. So the ETH and USDC rewards for this pool, for example, will go directly to the solid stakers. Let's break down how this flywheel works. First, in order to get any of these APRs right here, which is the 1.5K APR, this is just paid in the solid token. So if I wanted to get 1.56% or 1.5 thousand% APR, all I would do is deposit it into this pool. But it's paid in the solid token, and me as a farmer, I'm just going to dump it. However, if I wanted to get these emissions, which is about $100,000, I would have to stake my solid tokens and lock it and vote on this pool. Let's say I have 100% of all the votes for this pool. So right now, currently about 28% of the votes out there is going to this pool. That means if I owned 100% of it, I would get all of this $100,000 paid in solid and ETH. These are the two LP tokens. So all the swap fees go to the voters. And also as a solid staker, I'm going to get rebases of the solid token, so my share is not diluted from new emissions that happen when people provide liquidity. So to reiterate, again, the flywheel is this. As people are depositing into these pools, they are earning solid, which creates dump pressure on it. We need another catalyst to create buy pressure for it. The buy pressure for it is people chasing to get these rewards on these different pools by staking, locking, and voting on these and earning rebases. Now that's not the only thing that they earn. They can also earn bribes. As you can see here, there's no bribes on this one. Let me show you a pool that has it. As you can see here, this has bribes in mosold. So if I voted on this pool, I would get the liquidity rewards as well as the bribes. You can also go on this page to see the different bribes for different protocols. That is how that flywheel is created. You have people wanting to buy the solid token to earn these rewards, and then you also have the people wanting to buy these different governance tokens in order to farm the solid reward. These governance tokens will also then want to purchase the solid token to direct incentives their way to build deeper liquidity. So this is kind of why you have the solid triangle. So you have solid stakers, you have liquidity providers, and then you have protocols. Protocols need solid, protocols need liquidity. Liquidity providers need the protocol token, and they need solid so they farm rewards. And then you have solid, they need the protocols, and they also need the liquidity providers to keep the flywheel. So that's how you have this triangle going. Here's the difference between the Solidly model and other AMMs. As you can see here, Between Uniswap, Curve, SushiSwap, Balancer, Velodrome and Solidly both give 100% of the fees to the governance token holders, which in order to get those fees, you have to be the holder of the solid token. Now, you don't just get all of the rewards, you have to vote on that particular pool to get some of the rewards. And there are bribes involved for this. So if you go onto the solid DEX and you go to the vote tab, if you have some solid tokens staked, the only way to do this is lock and vote. And there's an epoch every single week. So this happens every 7 days. So let's say I had 1,000 solid tokens voted or staked. If I wanted to vote, I would then select what vote percentage I would want. So if I had some staked, I would say, hey, I want 100% here, or let's say 50% here and 50% here. I would get the fees from both of these pools based on the percentage of the vote that I hold. So let's say 1% of the TVL that is voted is mine. I would get 1% of these fees. So the projected rewards are 17K. I would get 1% of these. If I had 100%, then I would get all of these fees. So that's how you can factor that in. And there is the addition of bribes. If you want to see what this looks like, you can go on Velodrome and they actually have a display of the bribes and they will say this is your projected APR if you vote on this, including the bribes. As you can see, this is just all the voting rewards from swap fees. Now this is on Ethereum, so it is gas intensive. You can also go over here to check out the bribe breakdown, but right now there are no protocols bribing it out. But Solidly did just take off in price and there is some buy pressure for it. Now it's not a lot of buy pressure because the token is a really illiquid coin with over 96% of the supply that is locked. Actually, there's less than that circulating. It's about a $15, maybe $16 million market cap at the time of recording. And as you can see, like $1 million worth of volume here, $1 million here, there really isn't a bunch of volume. And especially for a token like this, the fully diluted market cap is around 400 million with the current prices. So as you can see here, the fully diluted is 356 million. So these are basically some of the base yields that you can get on Solidly. However, there is a way to have these boosted. And these would be boosted using something like Monofarm or Monolith. So on Monofarm, they're able to boost these different pools with the solid governance power that they have. They're able to direct liquidity into particular pools by juicing the incentives with the voting power that they have. If you take a look and see how much voting power the Mono Solid token has, it has 41% of the total solid supply. So there are a couple of other holders that can vote on particular pools that they want, but as you can see with a 41% voting power, this basically has a large influence on where liquidity incentives are directed. So LP providers are incentivized to deposit on Monofarm instead of on Solidly because they can get these boosted APRs, which when these boosted APRs are given, a portion of the profits that are received from the farming rewards actually go to the mono stakers or the Mo Solid stakers. Looking into the docs, you can see here solid engaged bribes to Mo Solid stakers is 10%. So they get 10% of the profits, 5% goes towards the treasury / automation rebates. So a total of 15% for all fees. And then if you're giving the VE NFT, you also have these fees as well. Basically what Monolith is doing is going to be voting on these different pools for the different holders and picking the ones that are most beneficial to the protocol itself. And if you're a Mo Solid holder, you can receive these benefits by staking them. And when you stake them, the rewards automatically purchase more Mo Solid and give El Mo Solid. But hang on, Drake. What is this Mo Solid thing? Well, in order to get Mo Solid, you either have to convert Solid or VE Solid into Mo Solid. This is basically a 1-to-1 ratio. So if I want to get 1 Mo Solid or 10, I would deposit 10 Solid tokens. And in the future, this will also be VE Solid. So if my VE Solid tokens are locked and I want liquidity, well, right now Mo Solid is trading at a discount. So I would get my VE Solid and I would be selling at a fraction of the cost. So both Mo Solid as well as Solid tokens were given to holders who migrated. As you can see here on Monolith, if you converted your 0xD, 0x solid, your SEX or solid SEX, you can actually redeem them for some of the mosolid tokens. And these tokens were on different chains. In particular, they were on Phantom. And this was the same case over on Solidly. So if someone on Solidly is wanting to exit their position and they have a vote locked position, they can't sell. However, there is an alternative, and that is going through Monolith. But when you do this, you are going to be selling at a fraction of the cost because it's trading off peg. So short term, for the mosolid protocol itself, it may cause the price to be extremely volatile because there is not a lot of liquidity on this token. Here's a breakdown between the difference between Solid, VE Solid, and mosolid. So with Solid, this is the farm token. So as we showed you guys on the LP pools, if you deposit into here, you're only earning the Solid token. You are not earning any of the LP rewards. By the way, shout out to Coin Lumbo. This is a great little summary and snapshot that he made. But VE Solid is the locked Solid token that can only be used for voting, as well as getting the protocol bribes and the weekly rebase. So as a VE Solid staker, you would get 100% of the trading fees, as well as the bribes for that particular pool that you vote on, and then a rebase. mosolid has a little bit of a different approach. You can either stake and compound this, or you can LP with this on Solidly. If you look on the Solidly pairs, you can currently LP with mosolid and ETH and get a 371% APR and paid in the Solid token. And you can obviously also stake it and compound into the rewards. Also for mosolid, it's going to pick the best pools for the protocol. That's going to earn the most revenue. It's also going to earn 100% of the Solid weekly rebases, as well as mosolid rewards. So TLDR is VSolid is going to be a little more hands-on, and mosolid is going to be more passive, and you won't have as many gas fees. So this is also an additional benefit of using mosolid over Solidly. Some people can use the poke function in order to claim the rewards. This will basically auto compound some of the rewards in the different pools. There is a 2% poke bounty for the outstanding gauge rewards for the tokens. So an example of this, if there's 100 solid and 100 mosolid that needs to be poked, you would get 2 solid and 2 mosolid for poking this gauge. This is kind of a snapshot of what it would look like of the different pools that are on here that would need to be claimed. And basically hitting the poke function will claim these different rewards on the pool that you select. So let's say I put in the contract address for the USDC, USDT pool. This will claim the rewards, and as the poker, I would get 2%. So obviously, if it's not enough to compensate for the gas costs, it's not worth doing that. So in summary, the main difference between the Solid token and the mosolid token is that with Solid, this is basically the farming coin. This will be more liquid, but it doesn't have the benefits of being able to be used as voting, as well as earning some bribes. If you want to earn some of the rewards, you can use the mosolid token. So if you're looking to get cash flow, you want to look for the mosolid token. But if you want to get capital gains and speculate on the price and potentially it going up, it would be the Solid token. So mosolid is not a peg token to the Solid token. It is a floating peg, and it's run by arbitrage. So in my opinion, in peak euphoria, if the Solidly token does get a lot of traction, I do think the mosolid token will get closer to peg as more and more people are like, oh, hey, let's arbitrage this. I think it's going to be closer to price. I missed out on the Solid price. Let me buy mosolid. And the opposite is true as well. If Solid is crashing in price, people wanting to exit the system, especially with locked positions, they would want to sell the mosolid because that's the only way they can exit solidly if they have the VE Solid. So Solid for capital gains and mosolid if you want to have cash flow as well as exit liquidity. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you guys leave a comment in the description below. Tell me what you guys think and drop a like. Let's go ahead and hit you guys. And I'll also leave some links in the description below so you guys can check out Solidly and monosolid. And also, if you guys want to join the Discord, there's a link in the description below. You can basically chat with a bunch of DeFi just like you. And there's some exclusive content in there as well that I don't show on YouTube. Proverbs chapter 10, verses 8. The wise in heart accept commands, but a chattering fool comes to ruin. Be good, be righteous,